How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Then BitBoy Armstrong booted from his own YouTube channel. So the company said that the reasons were difficult and included serious personal allegations against Armstrong that have not yet been confirmed by the influencer. It does say that supposedly he confirmed it a little bit on Twitter, but no one knows for sure if that was actually him because it was through the Bencoin account. Hit Network CEO TJ Shed made a statement about the dismissal in the live stream this morning. He added that the removal is to help reconcile the emotional, physical, and financial damage that Armstrong has done to his employees of Hint Network and the BitBoy crypto community. So, no big secret, he's told a lot of people some misleading information, and that's pretty much why we made our channel. So, SEC fines LA companies $6 million over NFTs sold as securities. So we had some NFTs according to the SEC's allegations between October and December of 2021. Impact Theory introduced and traded 3 NFT tiers and named them Founders Keys, labeled as legendary, heroic, and relentless. They conveyed that purchasing a Founders Key would yield returns if the firm thrived. So right there, that's a security. The SEC now alleges that these NFTs are security investment contracts, and by extension, Impact Theory made an offering of unregistered securities when it sold the NFTs. In response to the SEC's findings, Impact Theory has agreed to cease and desist, and they paid a $6.1 million fine. So they pretty much said, yeah, we sold securities. So they didn't even fight him. Bankman-Fried's legal team seeks temporary release ahead of October trial. Did not want to do that. The motion advocates for Bankman-Fried's temporary release. If this isn't achievable, they're requesting at minimum a setup that permits him to meet with his attorneys outside of court 5 days a week. The defense emphasizes that the clients need to access essential online documents, insisting that the disgraced crypto founder is the only one who has complete knowledge of the companies and facts in question. Before his bail was revoked, Bankman-Fried was investing between 80 to 100 hours weekly, the lawyers claim. However, Judge Lewis Kaplan's current directives confine him to a mere 6 hours of laptop usage daily for only 2 days a week. Although they do have unlimited views from the other judge, so I don't see what the problem is. Just go there more. Bankman-Fried's legal team cites the restrictive battery life, absence of power outlet for charging in the cell block, so they're saying their laptop has basically a small battery, and they have no way of charging it to continue going on. They also say that Bankman-Fried is unable to access his Google Docs, where he had stored some prior work, and they did mention some technical limitations due to the internet, saying that they had gotten locked out of being able to do anything for a few hours, so they have a little bit of merit to stand on, but it's just worrisome to see SBF trying to get outside of the prison again. Balancer suffers nearly 1 million exploit as team urges users to withdraw funds. The exploit came less than a week after the team disclosed the critical vulnerability on August 22. The Balancer team asked the liquidity providers on the exchange to withdraw funds from certain pools that were exposed to this vulnerability. So, blockchain security firm BOSIN tweeted that the exploit was carried out through multiple flash loan attacks. A flash loan attack is where an attacker borrows a large amount of crypto from a DeFi platform, then uses those funds to manipulate affected pools and siphon funds from them, and then repays the loan in the same transaction. So over on our total, we're struggling to go anywhere. We are trying to pull back, currently rejecting that Fibonacci zone. We did try to break above, and we did try to break below, so we wicked all over. Our stochastic is trying to push up, RSI is pretty flat. That view up's still arching out, and the money flow is rejecting away from that neutral, and the momentum looks like it could get a red dot if that view up starts to come down with some strength. 4 hour doesn't look too great. We're just going to look at some micro trends real quick. Money flow on the 2 hour starting to come out. Our stochastic's in a pretty high spot, so watch if that starts to roll. Our view up is making lower highs, so if that starts to roll here and break that neutral, we could be set up for further downside. However, we are also trying to invalidate the pattern here with a green dot after a reversal arrow. So if we get a run up like this, we could try to invalidate it. However, that run up could also just be a fake breakout and we could snap back in. So I would exercise some caution and don't get too filled with hopium if you see us starting to break up. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we have an inverted candle here, long upper shadow candle. RSI is pretty flat, stochastic's pretty flat, our VWAP is pretty flat. The money flow overall is trending out. It's going pretty flat over the last couple candles, but this is a bearish candle. If you're not familiar with it, join that Discord link down below and download the resources for candle patterns. But this could push us lower. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are pretty flat here. Our RSI has gone pretty flat. That stochastic's gone pretty flat. VWAP's flat. The money flow is trying to inch up, so that is good for us. If that can continue on lower time frames, we could get a push up. Our money flow does want to go bullish here on the 2 hour, so watch the next few candles. If we get a rejection with this money flow and don't maintain a new high, then we could see ultimately a pullback. Our stochastic is starting to fall. RSI wants to bend up. That VWAP looks like it wants to gain some steam, but it's a little iffy. And the momentum wants to push up, but if the VWAP continues down, the momentum will continue down as well. Over on Bitcoin, we are kind of bouncing around the bottom of our flag. RSI is pretty tight, stochastic's pretty tight, that VWAP's pretty flat, the money flow is curling out, and the momentum's kind of flattening out. It does want to go up, but with the VWAP kind of flattening out, it's not really going much. So over on the 4 hour, have a little bit of a bearish engulfing candle, but we are trying to pump after it, so we could invalidate like a tweezer top drop down, but our stochastic does want to roll off. RSI is looking a little iffy. Our momentum, it does have a bearish divergence with a red dot, and our VWAP is breaking into that bearish territory. So if we get a red candle next, we could get a breakdown. However, if we get another green candle, our money flow may touch this neutral and try to break through, at which point if we can break through strongly, we could get a bullish trend to form, especially if our lower time frames are looking good when that happens. We have a little bit of a bottoming pattern here on the 2 hour, so that's good for us. Our stochastic looks like it wants to round up. The money flow is overall trending out though still, and we look like we may roll over and come back for another retest of the neutral. If we do that, I would exercise caution. The momentum does want to come up as the VWAP's trying to come up, so those do want to gain some bullish strength with everything else, but that's going to be dependent on if our money flow can maintain bullish strength. If people start selling off, then it's likely we could get that leg down. Our RSI is starting to roll off. Our stochastic's trying to get some strength back right around that 40. So if it can continue up, that RSI may be able to rebound. Our money flow is overall inching back up on the 2 hour. We are around like a 20 zone. This is like the highest it's been locally for this channel. And the last time it got here, we did see a breakdown. So just exercise caution and watch for that. Our momentum does want to come up with a green dot as our VWAP's breaking bullish. So the money flow is bullish on the 1 hour. Bullish on the 2 hour, and it wants to go bullish on the 4 hour. So if that can happen, we could get that confluence of the 3 time frames we talk about, and that could help kick us up. So this could act as a double bottom then. Over on graph for the daily, we are trying to push to the top of our pattern, so we are trying to invalidate this pattern as well. Our stochastic's trying to push up, RSI is trying to push up, that VWAP's trying to come up, and the money flow is coming up. The momentum's a little iffy because the VWAP doesn't have much true strength, so if the VWAP breaks down, we could just get kicked down pretty quick. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a little bit of a breakdown. We came back up, retested, broke through, and that could be basically an invalidation of our pattern here. Maybe able to draw some sort of like line here if you wanted. But overall, that would mean that we might stretch out for a little bit longer, but nothing too exciting. Stochastic's trying to run up. RSI wants to push up. That VWAP is rolling away. The money flow is flattening out here in the bullish territory, right around where it gets rejected a couple times. So watch out for a rejection. That momentum does want to come up, but if the VWAP continues its trajectory, that momentum is going to lose its trajectory and fall down. Over on the 2 hour, we have a green dot. That green dot wants to push us through this pattern. So if it does push us through and we continue up and don't just roll back over, we could get bullish move up. Our stochastic is pushing down. Our RSI is getting lower highs and pushing lower. The money flow is overall getting lower highs. It does look like it wants to roll back over. So exercise some caution, because if it breaks bearish here, we could get sucked back down. That momentum looks like it could roll away as that VWAP's losing its strength, so just exercise caution with that as well. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic's getting close to a bullish cross. RSI is trying to push up, but it's starting to roll away, so we could get a little bit of a divergence here that could bring us down. That momentum does want to come up as our VWAP's breaking bullish, so that's giving us that green dot. However, it's looking a little dicey. If our other indicators start to roll away, the VWAP may just flop back over. Our money flow is pushing up pretty decently. We are right around this 11.8 though. We have rejected away a couple times from. So if we don't sustain and break through this, we could curl away and break down from it. Over on Anchor for the daily, looks like we're somewhat breaking down still. If I can get that to zoom right. Stochastic wants to push up, RSI is arching out. The money flow is struggling to maintain bullish strength and looks like it could start to arch away. That VWAP's arching away, so that momentum is coming down. So if tomorrow gets a red candle, we may see that money flow break bearish and get that red dot. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we got our retest, so we got our breakdown, got our retest, and we're getting a rejection. We do have that gap down here on the 4 hour, so usually we've been seeing gaps on the 1 hour. That's not too good. Stochastic's trying to push up, RSI is overall falling, that VWAP's curling away, and the money flow is starting to trend out. Watch if it makes a bounce here though. If it makes a bounce here, we could come back up, trend higher. However, I'm not feeling too good about that possibility with a gap on the higher time frame. Momentum's starting to roll away, so overall, we look like we could get kicked down. We have a manipulation X that wants to bring us down, but we are trying to push up. Kind of weird we don't have the gap here on the 2 hour, but we could push up, fill this gap here on the 2 hour, and that 1972 that we did not fill yesterday because we ran up. So we could push back down and then fill those lower price points, maybe see that wick fill. Over on the 1 hour, be interesting to see if we have that gap. We have a gap here, but did fill, so that might be why it's on the 4 hour, but not the 2 hour. Maybe this 2 hour candle pushed it up and we didn't get it. But we do have that gap here at that 1.9, so we could come up, continue pushing up, fill that, and maybe see a rejection from there. Our stochastic's starting to push away. That RSI is trying to trend up. Our momentum is coming down, but it's starting to round up as our VWAP is trying to push up. So if our VWAP can break through the neutral, that would give us some bullish strength to push the momentum up, which would push the stochastic up, and then we could see some higher price points. But we would need to break this kind of like resistance area in order to do that. Money flow is getting lower lows, so watch out. If it rolls over here, we could get lower highs too and kick off a bearish trend that could drop us down. Over on XRP for the daily, we look just as good as some of our other coins where we're really not doing a whole lot. We are trying to get a hammer candle with a long lower shadow candle though, so that could represent that sellers tried to push us down, but the buyers ultimately maintained the price action. Stochastic wants to push up. RSI is pretty flat. The VWAP is starting to round away, so the VWAP is losing steam. Money flow is trending away. We are slightly starting to kind of bend here, and that momentum looks like it could reject away here if that VWAP breaks bearish. Over on the 4 hour here, we look like we do have a bit of an ascending triangle. This could be like a freak break up. If that is the case, we could get a little bit of a break away from this downwards trend. Get some decent price action. Right there looks pretty decent. We have a lot of candle touches. Drunken line right now. Sorry about that. So that would, I know everything's in black, that would push us back above that Fibonacci level to around 557. So we're gonna make this in color so it's a little easier for you guys to differentiate when you're looking at it going on. I'll do orange since I don't have very much that's in orange. So there we go. Over on the 2 hours, Stochastic's trying to push up, our RSI wants to push up, and money flow overall is trending out, so watch out if it rolls here. And that VWAP is pretty flat, looks like it is struggling to maintain any kind of strength here. So if that VWAP rejects away from the zone, we could see lower price action as our momentum would start to dump away with it. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to get a green dot, so if we see some green candles, we could get a run up and see that breakout. The stochastic does want to push up, that RSI wants to come up, the momentum's coming up, our VWAP was pushing lower, but if we can get some sort of new high, that may be able to help sustain us. The money flow looks like it is maintaining a bullish trend. It dipped bearish very slightly, but is overall trending up. We are struggling to get past this 10.4 though, so that's not okay, and could push us down. Over on the daily, we are getting a retest of this pattern, so that could end up breaking us down if we do see a red candle tomorrow. We pretty much got the full move though, so I'm going to delete this because I'm not going to bet on the pattern playing out twice. Our stochastic is pushing up, RSI wants to push up, the money flow looks like it wants to come up, the VWAP is struggling to push into the bullish territory, but we're getting that green dot on the momentum that wants to push the momentum higher. This is a decent candle setup, as this is a bottoming pattern. Again, if you're not familiar with the bottoming patterns, you should like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our Discord. But this could propel us up. Over on the 4 hour, we are getting a little bit of a reversal arrow that could push us away from here, so watch out. This could just be one big bear channel, bear flag. That's the word I'm looking for. Let's see. This could be the bottom. 2 touches to that bottom then. It's bear flag. Not a good one. Yeah, that could spill us down below that previous price target and drop us to about 7.5 cents, so I would exercise caution if that plays out. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic's pushing. It has like no more room to go. Our RSI is running up. We have a green dot followed by a green candle. We're trying to break this resistance. You could see that candle flashing, just did it again. So if we don't push through here, this could be where we reject. Our momentum's trying to come up, our VWAP's starting to kind of curl away, and the money flow's trying to break through the neutral, but starting to kind of flick away from it. So if that happens, we could get a rejection and get pulled back down. Over on the daily, 1 hour, don't know why I almost said daily, our stochastic's trying to run up. RSI is kind of getting knocked down around the 76 with lower highs, so even though we're trying to push higher with price, our RSI is forming a slight divergence. If that continues, that could drag us down. That momentum is kind of tapering off. The VWAP did make a bounce off that neutral, so that is good. That could help propel the momentum forward, but just watch out if it starts to roll away with a lower high. That money flow is kind of starting to taper away and flatten out, so if the money flow doesn't pick up, it's likely that people will start to sell off more than they're buying, and we could get a drop. So just keep that in mind. This would be, let's see, 1, 2, this would be our third touch to this pattern. Usually around your third touch is when you get your breakdown or subsequent touches. So if we don't break down from here, and we don't manage to get a run up from a test to this support if we get rejected, then it's very likely the next downturn would be the downturn to take you out. So just a little tidbit. Not financial advice. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe, join our Discord.